Ladies and gentlemen, there will be plenty of time to schmooze during lunch. We'd like to get started so we can get to lunch. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here on such a wonderful day. We made it through the barbecue. I got to say it one more time. And we are here to honor and celebrate our soon-to-be newly installed rabbi. Allow me to begin by extending a warm welcome to all present today, including our distinguished guest speakers. Our esteemed speakers today include Rabbi Daniel Nevins, Rabbi Anna Boswell-Levy, Rabbi Carl Perkins, Rabbi Emeritus Elliot Perlstein, Valerie Thaler representing USCJ, Cantor Annalise Ocanto-Romo, as well as several other notable individuals. For those of you unfamiliar with me, which I find very hard to believe, my name is Craig Cernitsky, at least that's what they've told me, and it is my distinct honor to serve as the current president of Ohev Shalom. I will serve as your host, MC, and master of ceremonies on this occasion. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. You voted for me. You get what you get. In essence, this is the first time during my tenure that most people will actually listen to me. Today we gather formally to formally install our esteemed Rabbi, Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins. Although we've been privileged to have Rabbi Kling-Perkins serve as our rabbi for over a year, it was only now that we could find an appropriate moment on our calendar to conduct her installation as the second rabbi in the history of Ohev Shalom. We're fortunate to have had Rabbi Perlstein, whom you will hear from shortly, lead us for 48 years. To claim that rabbinic installations are frequent in our community, not so much. To describe this occasion as significant would likewise be an understatement, as it coincides with our 50th anniversary year. We've come to know and cherish Rabbi Kling-Perkins already, and we hope that it will be another 48 years before we undertake another installation, at which time I will not be the president. I'll be lucky to be alive. I had the privilege, the distinct privilege, of welcoming Rabbi Kling-Perkins on her first day. The impression she left on me that day remains vivid and will stay with me as long as we are fortunate to have her. We sat in her new office, engaged in a conversation that flowed effortlessly, easy for me to say. We discussed numerous topics, but what most impressed me and continues to do so is her approach to planning for the future of Ohev Shalom. Whenever we discuss the community's future, her focus is invariably on long-term strategy. She consistently shares ideas that address immediate concerns while simultaneously contributing to our long-range plans. In these discussions, she also inquires about our traditions, how we have historically celebrated holidays, and whether there are aspects unique to the Ohev way that may be sensitive to change. Her approach embodies a balance of looking forward while respecting our past. We continue to approach things in this manner. Rabbi Kling-Perkins has integrated seamlessly with our senior staff, including our Executive Director, Barbara Glickman, Cantor Annalise Ocanto-Romo, and Education Director, Shari Sabbath. Hold on, my pages are out of order. There we go. This collaborative effect has fostered innovation, introduced new solutions to long-standing issues, and encouraged constructive dialogue. Barbara confided in me, and it's just among us, don't tell anybody. She confided in me that on challenging days, she seeks counsel from Rabbi Kling-Perkins. As she puts it, Rabbi really rabbied me today, meaning that she left her office feeling uplifted and reassured. I wholeheartedly concur with Barbara's sentiment. As president, I'm often faced with difficult decisions, and I invariably feel more confident after discussions with Rabbi Kling-Perkins. Furthermore, Rabbi Kling-Perkins and her family, Matt, and all of our kids, Rena and Shelev, have become invaluable members of the Ohev family. I know I can speak on behalf of everyone present when I say that we could not be more pleased that Rabbi Kling-Perkins chose to join us, just as we chose her. We have found a spiritual leader whose guidance will ensure that Ohev Shalom's future is as radiant as its history. It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to formally commence this ceremony with the introduction of our first guest speaker, Valerie Thaler, Director of Synagogue Engagement and Synagogue Consultant to the Mid-Atlantic District for USCJ. Other page. Bear with me. First time I've done this. Valerie is a Norristown native. She joins us today from Baltimore. Valerie began her career as an American Jewish historian and Jewish educator. Valerie entered the synagogue world in 2017, serving as executive director at 2 Baltimore area congregations. Valerie joined USCJ as Mid-Atlantic District Synagogue Consultant in 2023, serving 80 congregations in Eastern PA and all of New Jersey. Today, she serves in that role as well as USCJ's Director of Synagogue Engagement. Most recently, she launched USCJ's new digital resource library, an extensive collection of online resources for synagogue leaders. Valerie is delighted to represent USCJ today for this special occasion. Valerie?
Thank you, Craig, for inviting me here today. It is my pleasure and honor. Can everybody hear me? I'm a lot taller than most people in this room. It is my pleasure and honor to represent USCJ and the Mid-Atlantic District and to participate with the membership and leadership of Ohev Shalom in this wonderful installation ceremony of Rabbi Kling-Perkins. We are proud to count Ohev Shalom amongst our affiliated congregations. As the Association of Conservative Masorti Synagogues in North America, we value the involvement of OHEV in our district and international programs. The Mid-Atlantic District is comprised of 82 congregations in Eastern PA and New Jersey, which are committed to the ideals of conservative Judaism. As your synagogue consultant, my role is to connect you with the resources and programs of United Synagogue that help strengthen our congregations. And I was very fortunate also to work with your search committee when Rabbi Kling-Perkins was hired. Your installation is a time of joy and celebration. I have to actually invite you up here now. Okay, just because. The words of Pirkei Avot resonate at this moment. Aseh lecha rav uknei lecha kaver. The congregation has chosen its teacher and has also acquired a friend. May your efforts be filled with success as you draw congregants of all ages to the words of our tradition through Torah, Avodah, Gmilut Chasadim. It's my pleasure to share the certificate of installation from USCJ. On which these words from Pirkei Avot are written. On behalf of USCJ's professionals and lay leadership, I wish you and the congregation many years of partnership and success. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you, Valerie. Before our next speaker, I wanted to read a letter from the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia. Dear Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins, from all of us at Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, we wish you a heartfelt mazel tov on your installation at Ohev Shalom. Your work is important to us, and we value your partnership. We are grateful for the impact you will be making as a communal leader, spiritual advisor, and community builder. Rabbi Kling-Perkins, we are thrilled for Ohev and all of Bucks County for selecting you to serve and help build a stronger Jewish community. We look forward to seeing the meaningful impact you will make in fostering Jewish identity and connection within the Bucks County Kehillah, Bucks County Clergy Council, and the larger Philadelphia Jewish community. Wishing you success and meaning in your work, sincerely, Michael Balaban, President and CEO. Our next speaker will be Rabbi Anna Boswell-Levy. Rabbi Boswell-Levy has been the rabbi at Congregation Kol Emet since 2014, which is Reconstructionist. Before that, she served Congregation Tzedek V'Shalom in Newtown from 2008 to 2014. Her first child, who is now 13, attended the infant center and preschool right here at Ohev Shalom. So she knows the warmth of the Ohev Shalom community. Her husband Josh and she also have twin girls who are just starting 4th grade. I'm sorry. Mazel tov. Rabbi Boswell-Levy is currently Vice President of the Philadelphia Board of Rabbis. She was previously active and served in leadership positions for local and national interfaith and Jewish social justice organizations and in the Reconstructionist movement. She's really enjoyed getting to know and collaborate with Rabbi Kling-Perkins through her involvement with the Bucks County Jewish Clergy Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Anna Boswell-Levy.
Shalom, everyone. It's really delightful to be back here. Thank you, Rabbi Kling-Perkins and Craig Cernitsky, for your gracious welcome and invitation to speak. This is such a joyous occasion, and I have to say, even though you haven't done an installation like this in a very long time, you're doing it very well. I've been in Bucks County since 2008, and it's been my pleasure to get to know Rabbi Perlstein and all the other wonderful clergy of Bucks County, and now it's really my pleasure to have gotten to know Rabbi Kling-Perkins over the past year. So I just want to say that my line from Pirkei Avot, chapter 1, Mishnah 6, was stolen already. Make for yourself a teacher, or acquire yourself a friend. But it really, that's the line that came to my mind, and as I searched for other ones, because this one is so well known, it really, it just came back to me over and over again that this was the right one. And obviously I wasn't alone in my thinking, because for me, Rabbi Kling-Perkins is really such a balance, a wonderful balance of a teacher and a friend. She's made quite an impact in the wider Bucks County Jewish community, among the clergy, being not only present but so engaged, teaching herself, bringing to us other remarkable teachers. And I would say the best way is that she's really been a wonderful listener as well. For me, I've had the opportunity to work with her as we've sort of overhauled the Intro to Judaism class this year, thinking about what are the most essential things to learn in the Jewish tradition, and how do we make it not just a class that's full of depth, but a class that really represents all the different denominations and the wonderful diverse wisdom that all of our Jewish clergy have to bring in Bucks County. So for me, this is such an honor to be here today, and I'm really excited to continue to learn with you and from you, and to also grow in friendship with you.
Our next speaker really needs no introduction, but I will anyway. Rabbi Perlstein, we were lucky, blessed to have you on our bima as our rabbi for 48 years. For those of you who don't know, and again, I find it hard to believe that you don't, I've been here my whole life. I've been here since I was 9 years old. Until last year, I basically knew no other rabbi, and I'm lucky for that. You taught, you showed us, you never forced us to learn anything, but we wanted to learn. That's the best thing I can say about you, is you made us want to know more. Again, we've been blessed to have you. We are blessed to have you now as our Rabbi Emeritus, and I welcome you back to the bima to say some words, please.
What a great pleasure it is to be here together with all of you to install our rabbi, Rabbi Leora Kling Perkins. I'm used to you sitting over here. So we are here for the installation of our second rabbi, but really Rabbi Kling Perkins is the first rabbi to be installed at Ohev Shalom, because the guy who came before was never installed. He came for a Purim service in 1976. It was the first service of Ohev Shalom, and he never left. And you know, in a blink of an eye, it was 48 years. But what a blink of the eye it was. You know, people have been asking me, how long did it take, or is it still taking time to feel that you are the former rabbi of the synagogue? That you are, you know, you're not the rabbi, you're the former. So, you know how long it took me? 3 days. So my last day was June the 30th, and I was soon on my way to Israel, where I would be for a couple of months. And I went to visit a dear, dear, dear congregant. She'd been in the hospital, and she'd been in rehab, and I was concerned about would I see her again. And I went to visit her, and we had a great chat. And we were sitting and talking about all kinds of things. What a dear, dear woman. And then the phone rang. And she picked up the phone and she said, can I call you back? My former rabbi is here. Wow, she did the shift pretty quickly, you know? She did the shift pretty quickly, so I did too. About Rabbi Kling Perkins, I want to talk about courage and caring. You may not know this, there's no reason why you would, but you should know that it takes a considerable amount of courage to apply for a position where your to-be predecessor was there for 48 years. Believe me, many rabbis see that and they say, not for me, because it comes with its pitfalls. Rabbi Kling Perkins saw it and said, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to honor the past and to bring something new and fresh and exciting and wonderful for the future. It takes courage, really, it takes courage. And the other word is caring. It became very clear to me from the very beginning that you are and will continue to be a rabbi of great caring for congregants. Not every rabbi has it or feels it or does it. But as I was talking to congregants, my former congregants, after July the 1st, they would invariably tell me that they had some level of need. You knew about it immediately. You were in touch with them immediately. You visited them. And they felt your loving embrace right from the very beginning. Right from the very beginning. I saw it also the Shabbat that you were here for your interview. So you led the service with a cantor, and then we went into the social hall, as we will today, for the Shabbat dinner. And you know, I think it would have been fair to expect you to sit down with your family and to sit and eat the meal. But that's not what happened. You were going from table to table, to table to table. And you were meeting people. And you were trying your best, it became clear to me, to remember their names. That they weren't just going to be a person that you said Shabbat Shalom to. And you know, I have to say that it made sense to me. Because you're the daughter of a rabbi, Rabbi Perkins. And we go back to Hebrew high school together. Yeah. And so he has been an amazing mentor to you. But you did it. And I saw that this is the rabbi that we are searching for. It was very clear to me. So, courage and caring. But one other thing, when we spoke on the phone before you came here for the interview, I don't know how long we anticipated being on the phone with each other, but it was well over an hour. And I left that conversation feeling, you know, we are so in sync with each other. We have so many shared values of what a synagogue should be and what a synagogue could be. And I was really excited at that moment that Ohev Shalom's traditions would be honored and respected, but we would be in great hands under your leadership to bring us to the next level and the next stage. And in just 1 year, I've seen that happen and happening and happening. So, Rabbi, my hope for you, my wish for you is good fortune that I always felt in serving this most special, loving community. Good fortune. And a verse that comes from this coming week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, V'samachta b'chol hatov, asher natan lecha Adonai Elohecha uleveitecha. V'samacht b'chol hatov, asher natan lach Adonai Elohayech uleveitech. May you, Rabbi Kling Perkins, Liora, may you rejoice in all the good which Adonai, your God, has given and will give to you and your entire household. Matt, Rabbi Goldstone, On Shabbos morning, we have not only a minyan, but we have a mezuman of 3 rabbis here. It's pretty cool. And Rina and Shalev. Mechayel lechayel, from strength to strength.
Bear with me a second. Specifically asked Rabbi Perkins to send me his bio. He sent it to me, and I don't know where I put it. So we're going to make one up. The best bio I can give for Rabbi Perkins is that he knows Rabbi Kling Perkins probably better than anybody in this room. Well as anybody else in this room. Better than most. That good to say? Okay. I got the okay on that one. Rabbi Perkins grew up in this area, Philadelphia native. Hopefully he has remained his allegiance to the Eagles and Phillies. We'll leave the other teams out of it for now. We don't count them anymore. Rabbi Perlstein is correct. When you grow up the daughter of a rabbi, you learn the caring. You learn how to counsel and care for people. Rabbi Kling Perkins has learned that lesson in spades. So, Rabbi, forgive me for not having your full bio, but if you would please come up and speak to your daughter.
Well, let me begin by just saying that I don't know how my daughter feels right now, but I feel very full right now. My heart is full. It's an honor to be speaking to you from this bima, particularly following the kind words of Rabbi Perlstein. It's hard to believe that we were at Gratz College, Hebrew High School, so long ago. And it's nice to reconnect after 50 years, could it be? Hard to believe. And thank you, Craig, for your very warm words. Look, as I've come to appreciate over the last year, this is a warm, welcoming, and menschlich congregation, which is today installing someone who, in my humble opinion, is a warm, welcoming, and menschlich rabbi. What could be better than that? I want to tell you a story. 20-some years ago, I invited a dear friend of mine, the Reverend Carolyn Edge, who at the time was serving as the minister of the Methodist Church in our town, to attend services at our synagogue. It was the occasion of our son's bar mitzvah, and our daughter Leora, who was 14 at the time, and whom the Reverend Edge had not previously met, led a portion of the service. At the end of the service, Reverend Edge came over to me and said, "Your daughter is going to become a rabbi." I was taken aback. I said, "How do you know?" "It's obvious," she said. Well, it wasn't obvious to me, though I had long deeply respected and was very fond of my friend. I hadn't previously thought of her as a prophet. But once she made that matter-of-fact declaration, I began to appreciate the reasonableness of her prediction. Now, as some of you may know firsthand, our daughter is not the first rabbi in her family, nor am I. That distinction goes to my late father-in-law, Rabbi Simcha Kling, with whom our daughter was very close. until he unfortunately passed away while she was very, very young. Rabbi Kling loved people, and people loved Rabbi Kling. He was a fulfilled congregational rabbi, which deserves a note, I think. He was also a committed Hebraist and a devoted Zionist who published half a dozen biographies in English of Zionist figures, as well as numerous articles in Hebrew in the Hebrew journal Hadoar. He was also ahead of his time. Already back in the 1960s, he believed that women should have equal status with men in all aspects of Jewish life. And we can think about how long it took for that really to be accomplished, to the extent that it has. In addition, his wife, my mother-in-law, Edith Lehman Kling, had two brothers, Saul and Al, both of whom were rabbis. Saul was a congregational rabbi, mainly in New England, and a Bible scholar who served on the team of translators for the new JPS translation in 1985. His brother Al was a congregational rabbi and then a hospital chaplain for many years. It also happens that he could essentially read any passage from the Torah at no notice with perfect pronunciation and perfect trope. Had there been women rabbis back in the day, my mother-in-law would have, I'm sure, made an excellent rabbi herself. And finally, my two sisters-in-law married into rabbinic families, so they and their spouses are certainly rabbinic adjacents. Now, I'm sharing that family tree to make a simple point. Our daughter has had within her family more than a few role models from whom to learn. In addition, of course, to her teachers over the years, including Rabbi Daniel Nevins, from whom we'll be hearing in a few moments, a colleague and a friend whom I've known and for whom I've had a great deal of respect and affection since my days as a rabbinical student. I don't think anyone in our family ever nudged our daughter to become a rabbi. No one ever had to cajole her to study. She embraced Jewish learning with passion. But I think that the presence of so many rabbis in the extended family informed our daughter's understanding of what it might mean to be a rabbi and helped her to see herself in that role as well. Now, in some respects, I have to say, I see her following in their footsteps. For example, like her late grandfather, she relates well to people, as we've heard. To put it in religious language, she believes that every one of us is created in the image of God, and she appreciates the importance of listening to people and caring about them. Like her great-uncle Saul, she understands the importance of Torah scholarship, and she herself has continued to pursue her learning with commitment, diligence, and discipline. Like her great-uncle Al, she values pastoral care, and she also happens to share his love of chanting from the Torah. Finally, like all of the rabbis in her family, she recognizes the centrality of Torah and the rabbi's role in bringing Torah alive and sharing it in a way that is meaningful and makes sense to people. Now, having said all that, it's also true that like every rabbi, your new rabbi is unique. And that's a good thing. Let me explain. During my active rabbinate, there was one mentor with whom I often consulted and who remains to this day a dear friend and colleague, Rabbi William LeBeau. Long ago, he shared with me and other students with whom had the privilege of studying with him an important truth about the rabbinate that I've often pondered over the years, and that I think is important for all rabbis and congregations as well to understand. It goes like this: the message of the rabbi is not the sermon of the preacher. The message of the rabbi is the rabbi. Now, that may sound confusing. It may sound like a Zen saying. Let me unpack it a bit. We expect rabbis to preach. Preaching is a big part of what rabbis do. Nevertheless, it's who a rabbi is and how they live that, frankly, matters most. Knowing our daughter, as I have her entire life, I think it's fair to say that through her personality, the manner in which she relates non-judgmentally to people, her conscientiousness, her learning, the issues that she cares about, and the enthusiasm and the reverence that she brings to her work and to her life, and the reverence that, frankly, she brings to everything that she encounters, she embodies fundamental Jewish values. Values such as chesed, loving kindness, yirat shamayim, or reverence for the sacred, kavod habriot, respect for all human beings, as well as values like fairness, justice, and peace. These values collectively are her message, a message that she delivers by being who she is. In traditional prayer books, there's a prayer that uses a beautiful poetic expression to describe how nourishing and gratifying it can be to study Torah. May the words of Torah, this prayer says, be sweet in our mouths. Ha'arevna et divrei Toratecha befinu. May they be sweet in our mouths and in the mouths of all of us, so that we, our children, and all the children of the house of Israel may all come to study Torah for its own sake, not for any ulterior motives. I've always loved that idea. The idea that words of Torah can be so appealing that we could describe them as delicious. That's the way our daughter, your rabbi, relates to the words of Torah and the way of life that we call Judaism that flows from them. I wish this beautiful community and your new rabbi, whose values are so well aligned, many opportunities to learn and to celebrate together. And may the words that you share with one another on those occasions be sweet in the mouths of all of you who are privileged to share, listen to, or meditate upon them. Amen.
Talk about making me feel worse for not having his bio. It's a tough act to follow. Luckily, I don't have to follow him. Our next speaker will be Rabbi Daniel Nevins. Rabbi Nevins is a scholar of contemporary Jewish law and the author of Torah and Technology, Circuits, Cells, and the Sacred Path. He has led 3 Jewish institutions, Adat Shalom Synagogue in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I thought it was Michigan. As senior rabbi, Golda Och Academy in West Orange, New Jersey as head of school, and most relevant to today, the JTS Rabbinical School, where he served as dean to Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins. Rabbi Nevins lives in New York City and is teaching this year at JTS. We welcome Rabbi Nevins.
This day was ordained by the Lord. Let us rejoice in it. What a magnificent service this has been already. The speeches have been remarkable. And one after the other, I just feel filled with joy and pride to be part of this. It's a real privilege, and I'm grateful for being invited here. As you heard, I've had the privilege of knowing Rabbi Kling-Perkins for about 10 years, I'd say. I had the pleasure of being at your chuppah and speaking at your wedding to Matthew. And of course, as your dean, I got to observe the incredible qualities that you arrived with and the incredible accomplishments that you had during your years as a student. As you could imagine, Rabbi Kling-Perkins, when she was still Leora, the rabbinical student, was intelligent, had integrity, curiosity, and kindness. She was eager for it all, to expand and to learn, to take every opportunity that we could offer and even more. I want to mention just one in particular, which is that toward the end of her time as a rabbinical student at JTS, she became the secretary for the Committee on Jewish Law and Standards, which you heard I'm a member of. And during those last 2 years when she was the secretary, which, by the way, I had the same job at the same stage when I was finishing rabbinical school, she had the task of helping older rabbis to present their scholarship, to organize their words, and to present them. And that's a very important task. It's a kind of apprenticeship where a younger, growing scholar is able to sort of help the earlier generation, the prior generation, to get their word out. We have an expression for this in the Talmud. It's called Shimush Chachamim, or Shimush Talmidei Chachamim, serving the sages. And it is a kind of apprenticeship. It's a kind of learning by observation. And when a person engages in that type of learning, they are not only learning to be a rabbi from the books, but as Rabbi Perkins just said, learning from the rabbi's person itself. How are they in the world? How do they inhabit this role of being a rabbi? And learning from that, they themselves figure out, what kind of a rabbi am I going to be? They serve, they observe. And you know this word shimush from another context, from Hanukkah. In Hanukkah, what do we call that first candle that you light that lights all the other ones? The shamash, right? Or the shamus, we say. But in Hebrew, it's the shamash, because it serves the other candles. What does it do? It lights the first night one candle, and then each night more. Ma'alim bekodesh. They keep going until the whole room is filled with light. Now you might think that when the shamash is finished with its task, it's lit all the other candles, what would you do? Just blow it out, right? Because it doesn't have its own role. Its role was to light for the others. But it doesn't. The shamash stands tall and proud there among the others, so that its light is also shining. And so Rabbi Kling-Perkins, when she was still a rabbinical student, was playing this role of supporting others, but her light was already very bright. And if you think about it, it's not only the role of a young rabbinical student, it's also the role of a rabbi to light lights as she goes through her day, through her week, through her year. It's not only her teaching her Torah, but helping the bar and bat mitzvah find their voice and their words of Torah. And you, the congregation, not only your words of Torah, but also the chesed, the love that you express in this community. It's not only that she goes and visits the congregants at home or in the hospital, making shiva calls and so on, but she helps to organize all of you until the light of the congregation shines brilliantly. And after all, that is her name, Liora, my light. Ki eshev b'choshech, Hashem orli. Though I sit in the darkness, God will be my light. Your rabbi is a source of light. Her own light, which is so brilliant and so beautiful to behold, but also the light that she shares and will elicit from each of you. What a joyous moment this is as she becomes officially your rabbi. You know, I spent the weekend in Philadelphia, and I was visiting with another friend of mine who's a rabbi in a day school there. And a couple of years ago, his mother passed away in Massachusetts. And he said, Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins came to the rescue. She was a source of comfort, of kindness, of love. And this is from another rabbi, a rabbi who knows what it is to give chesed, also to receive it. Right? And he was so grateful. So you have regards from Rabbi Lev, right? Rabbi Judd Kruger-Levingston. Now, as you've already heard so much from her teacher and father, from Rabbi Carl Perkins, we go back a couple of years. I've counted, it's 36 years. We met in 1989 when I started JTS a year after you did, and we were in a fellowship together. And he is a paragon of wisdom, of Torah learning, and of menschlichkeit. Right? These beautiful qualities which we value in you and which we also value in you, Rabbi Lior Kling-Perkins. And as you heard, Rabbi Kling-Perkins is the inheritor of a dynasty of rabbis. I actually didn't know all of them. I knew about your grandfather, but I didn't know about your great uncles and so on. But I did not have the privilege of knowing Rabbi Simcha Kling. But I know his work, some of his work, which you didn't mention, Carl, which is as a teacher of converts to Judaism. And I know that you actually helped bring out one of his books in a new edition. And the idea of helping people to come find shelter under the wings of the divine presence is something that he did not only in direct service, but as an author of a book which was then a guidebook that was used throughout the land. Right? This is an incredible legacy of bringing people to Torah, bringing people to the Jewish community. What a great model for you. But of course, it's not only the models that you've got, but also your own leadership, which we are celebrating today. The Torah speaks about, there are two moments in the Torah of dedication, which I would call installation ceremonies. Right? The first one is called Shivat Yimei HaMiluim, the 7 days of dedication of the new tabernacle. When the tabernacle in the wilderness was finally built, we read about this in the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus, it says that before they could actually begin functioning with the tabernacle, they stood for 7 days, and the priestly family stood before the congregation, and on the 8th day they dedicated it. And in the Talmud it says, Oto hayom hayta simcha lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kiyom shenivru bo shemayim va'aretz. That day was as joyous for God as the day that God created the heaven and the earth. There's something about this moment of dedication, which is not just about, Ohev Shalom of Bucks County. There's this radiating joy from this room that goes out across the land, across Bucks County, across the Jewish world, and right up to the heavens. Because this is a moment when your congregation rededicates itself to your values. And this is a day of joy for God as well, just like a moment of creation. That day actually didn't end so well in the Torah. I'm not going to say much more about that. I'm going to really focus on a different moment of dedication. You can look it up. But in the book of Numbers, in Sefer Bamidbar, chapter 27, God tells Moses, okay, Moses, your career has come to an end. And Moses, you might think, would be bitter. Moses might be sad. He would be defensive. Why not? Why can't I keep going? I'm only 120. I've got a lot more to give. And God says, no, it's time for you to conclude your service. Moses, what he does say is, let the people of God not be like a flock without a shepherd. Lo tiyeh adat Adonai katzon asher ein lehem ro'eh. And God says, okay, Moses, you've got a student named Joshua. Moses, take your hand and place it on Joshua and transfer some of your hod, some of your glory, onto Joshua so that he can serve in your stead. V'samachta et yadcha alav. Place your hand on Joshua. V'natata mehuddecha alav. What does Moses do? Of course he does it, but listen to what it says in the Torah. Vayismoch et yadav alav vayitzavehu kasher diber Adonai biyad Moshe. Moses placed his hands on Joshua and gave him a command, just like God had said. What changed? Did you notice? What did God say to do? Place your hand. And what did Moses do? Both hands. The rabbis notice this. They're very good readers. And they notice this little shift. And they say, in general, people are jealous of each other's success. It's natural. There's a reason why the 10 Commandments ends with lo tachmod, right? Don't covet. The reason I think it's the 10th commandment is because it's the hardest one. It's natural to be jealous of other people. But the Talmud says there are two categories we're never jealous of. Our own children and our students. When a parent sees their child succeed, they are feeling nachas, celebration of their child's success. And when a teacher sees their student go and exceed them even, certainly succeed them, but maybe even exceed them, then they feel enormous pride. And in fact, Moses doesn't get to go into the land. The whole point was to bring the people into the land. He doesn't get to do it. Joshua will get to do it. You might think Moses would hold back. Joshua? Really? Okay, God, here, I'll put a hand. But no, he places both hands. And as Rashi says, Afogav da Kadosh Baruch Hu lo amar le, ela v'samachta yadcha alav chadda, azal ihu v'samach karte. Right? God said, place one, he went with both. He says, I want you to succeed, Joshua. And this is how I think we all feel today. We don't want Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins to succeed a bit. We want her to succeed brilliantly. 48 years is a tough act to follow. And whether or not it's 48 years, there are very few rabbis who do that. So your synagogue has something really special going on here, the Fountain of Youth, apparently. But to succeed beautifully and to bring this congregation into its next stage, right? This is something that we all want and we all know is what you're going to do with great skill and with great love. And so we want to offer this prayer that you will be able to succeed in this way. I had the honor of being your ordaining rabbi, right, just a couple years ago, back in 2019. This is not your ordination, but it is a moment for the congregation to hear how beloved you are to your family and your colleagues, how respected you are, and how proud we are of your work today. I have another thing I do want to say before we get to the ceremony, and it's addressed to you, the congregation. You know that this rabbi is caring. You know that she's compassionate. You know that she's going to be there for you. You have a job as well. You have to be caring and compassionate and supportive of her. Being a rabbi is hard work. It's days, nights, and weekends. A friend of mine in Canada was just asked by a congregant, what does a rabbi do all day? It wasn't the friendliest question, actually. And he responded by creating a Google document in fine print, page after page after page of the things that rabbis do, which are not seen by the congregation. It's really important that you recognize that this rabbi also is building a beautiful family and that she has her own neshama that needs to be nourished. There's a beautiful saying in the Talmud. God says to Moses, Matana tova yesh li b'beit nazai v'shavat shema. I have this wonderful gift I want to give to the Jewish people. V'ani mevakesh litna liYisrael. What's the name of this gift God wants to give the Jews? Shabbos. Isn't Shabbos sweet? Isn't it a wonderful gift not to work one day a week? Guess what? It's not so relaxing for pulpit rabbis, Shabbos. You have to make sure she has time off, not now and then, but regularly. She needs to have time to recharge. She needs to be able to read a book and keep learning some Torah. She needs to be able to go to a conference, a retreat with other rabbis. She needs to have time with her children. She needs some time just to be quiet and relax on her own. Right? Make sure she gets that. Insist that she gets that time. Will you do that? Yeah? Good. This is my actual task today. Okay. And I'm not being difficult. I'm saying that if you do this, if you invest in your rabbi, then you can pray that she will also have great longevity and success in this career so that she can be refreshed and continue to give to you as I know she intends to do. At the end of the Torah, God says to Moses, gather the people together. And only now, in the next book, does he actually appoint Joshua. And it says, Vayikra Moshe Yehoshua. Moses called Joshua. Vayomer elav le'enei kol Yisrael. He speaks to him before all of the people of Israel. You see, it wasn't enough for Moses and Joshua to have a private ceremony of installation. It needed the entire people to witness it. And Moses says to Joshua, in front of all the people, Chazak ve'ematz, be strong and of good courage. Ki ata tavo ta'am hazeh el ha'aretz, asher nishba Adonai la'avotam, leteit lehem. You will bring this people to the promised land which the Lord has promised to their ancestors. Ve'ata tamchilena otam. You will allow them to claim their inheritance. This is actually the task of a rabbi. Not so much to teach Torah to the people, but to let the people of Israel claim the Torah for themselves. To be their shamash, to light their light. To be their liora. To be their Rabbi liora. And so, with this in mind, I would like to invite Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins, your rabbi, to come forward. I want her to bring her talid. I'm going to put on a talid. This is a holy moment of dedication. We are going to stand in front of the Aron Kodesh. We're going to open it, and you're all going to rise. And as I say words of charge to her from the book of Jeremiah and the book of Joshua, I want each of you to summon within you the blessings you feel for your rabbi in this moment. Blessings for her success, and therefore for yours as well. Please rise as we turn to the actual ordination or installation. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Adonai our God and God of our ancestors, source of all blessing, we pray that the rabbi of this congregation shall lead it with the blessing of your spirit. Grant Rabbi Leora Kling-Perkins a wise heart, candor in speech, the courage to act decisively, and the strength to respond to every challenge with dignity. Give her a full measure of your compassion, that she may be the instrument of your ancient promise. As God tells the prophet Jeremiah, "V'natati lachem ro'im k'libi, v'ra'u etchem de'ah v'haskel." I will give you shepherds after my own heart, who shall nurture you with knowledge and understanding. And let us say Amen. Amen. And as God tells Joshua, "Lo yamush sefer haTorah hazeh mipich v'hagit bo yomam v'layla, l'man tishmor la'asot kechol ha'katuv bo, ki az tatzliach et drachecha, ואז תשכיל, הלא ציוויתיך, חזק ואמץ, אל תרוץ ואל תחת, כי עמך אדוני אלוהיך בכל אשר תלך. Let not this book of Torah cease from your lips, but recite it day and night, so that you may observe faithfully all that is written in it. Only then will you prosper in your undertakings, and only then will you be successful. I charge you, be strong and resolute. Proceed with courage and confidence, for Adonai your God is with you wherever you go.
Adonai Elohai v'Elohei Avotai, Asher b'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit, Ruach nachon chadesh b'kirbi, V'hiyu kol ma'asai l'shem kvodecha, V'chol machshavotai la'avodatecha, Utshukati elecha, umiftachi alecha. Adonai, my God and God of my ancestors, as you renew creation day after day, renew my spirit. May my deeds reflect your glory, my thoughts lead to your service, and may I yearn for and trust in you. May it be your will, Adonai, that I never debase your teaching, nor misrepresent it to others, that I never utter a word to dishonor you or your people, Israel. Teach me your way, and I will declare your wonders. Keep falsehood far from me. Grace me with your Torah. Protect me from emptiness. Sustain me with your teaching. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, shelo ekashel b'talmud Toratecha, v'shelo yikashlu achirim al yadi, v'shelo yomar pi davar she'eno lefi chvodecha, u'chvod Yisrael amecha. Derech pikudecha hamineni, Ve'asicha b'niflaotecha, derech sheker haser mimeni, v'toratcha choneni, ha'aver einai mir'ot shav, b'drachecha chayeni. Ha'arevna Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratecha b'fi u'b'fi amcha Beit Yisrael. V'nihyeh anachnu v'tzetzaenu v'tzetza'ei amcha Beit Yisrael. Kulanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei Toratecha lishma. Amen. May the words of your Torah, Adonai, be sweet in my mouth. May I be your faithful partner in bringing the sweetness of Torah to the mouths of your people Israel. May we, our children, and all of the children of the house of Israel revere you and study your Torah with devotion, and let us say,
Amen.
Thank you so much. This side. Oh yes, I think the choir. Should we keep it open?
It's fine for you. People can stand.
I guess we can.
Before we hear from Rabbi Kling Perkins, our choir is going to sing and make a presentation to Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor, and thank you to our choir. Our last speaker before we break. Our now officially our Rabbi Kling Perkins.
Thank you. I want to say thank you first to Craig for putting together this lovely program, and to everyone who has spoken so beautifully. I'm so touched by everything you had to say. Thank you also to Linda and Ivy and all of the many others who have so tirelessly and modestly worked as a labor of love to make today so special. I don't have a complete list, but I'm so grateful to all of you. And I'm so sorry that Linda can't be here today. I wish her a refuah shlema, the very best of health. I'd like to thank my teachers and mentors who have helped me to learn and develop as a rabbi. In particular, I'd like to thank Rabbi Nevins, who has so graciously come here today. He has always been a kind, insightful, and learned teacher and mentor. From the heights of the Adirondacks to the Beit Midrash, the study hall. And my parents, who have shown me what a meaningful, joyful life infused with Judaism can look like, and who are always available to give advice, professional or personal. And my father has been a model for me in my rabbinate. Thank you to my beloved and supportive husband, Matthew, with whom I share a love of Jewish learning and living, and who daily makes it possible to serve this community in the way that I do. Thank you to the search committee who brought me here and who helped me to feel at home here. I'd like to thank our lay leaders for the incredible work you put in to make the shul such a vibrant place. I wish I could name all of you, but we'd be here all day. So I'll just name Craig, our president, for all that you do and for being such a dedicated partner in leadership. Thank you to our incredible staff team. Thank you in particular to Barbara Glickman, who is incredibly efficient and effective at all that she does, and to Sherry Sabbath, our education director, who has brought her expertise and love of Jewish learning to our school. And thank you to Cantor Ocanto Romo for being such a strong, caring, and talented clergy partner. And I'd like to extend my gratitude to Rabbi Perlstein. Rabbi Perlstein nurtured and supported this community for 48 years. He helped this community become what it is today and has been so gracious and supportive as he and the shul have welcomed me here. Finally, I sincerely thank each and every one of you who have taken time from your busy lives to be here today. In this week's parasha, Ki Tavo, we read about a ritual in a text that may be familiar to us from the Passover Seder. Each year, the Israelites would gather the first fruits of their harvest and bring them to the temple in Jerusalem. They would give their produce to the priests and recite a special formula as a way to express their gratitude for the abundance with which they were blessed. That formula was a recitation of key parts of their history up until the present moment. The history started with the days of the patriarchs and matriarchs, included slavery in Egypt, deliverance from that slavery, and the journey back home to the land of Israel. It ended with the current moment. And we've heard this verse already today. I now bring the first fruits of the soil which you, God, have given me. And then, after reflecting on the past and acknowledging the present, the Israelites celebrate. But they don't celebrate alone. They gather along with those who don't own land, who don't have their own harvest, to share their food and to join together in a festive, celebratory meal. This is a beautiful ritual. In this ritual, our ancestors located themselves in history, as do we when we read this text at the Passover Seder. This text acknowledges where we come from and that each of us is part of a larger whole of the Jewish people. It expresses gratitude for the blessings we have and acknowledges that those blessings don't exist in a vacuum. This acknowledgement is a statement of humility that we owe our situations not just to ourselves, but also to those who came before us. Over time, we welcome in new people, people who may not share our exact history, but people who become an integral part of who we are as a group and who adopt our history as their own. And together, we weather good times and bad. We are here today to do something similar on behalf of our Ohev Shalom community. We are here to reflect on where we have come from and express our gratitude for where we are. As we've heard today, Ohev Shalom has 49 years of history. 49 years during which the community has built and expanded this space for gathering. 49 years of coming together for joyful participatory prayer, for learning, and for building community. 49 years with committed and loving rabbinic and cantorial leadership, the first 48 of which were with Rabbi Pearlstein as your rabbi. Under his devoted leadership, Ohev Shalom grew into the welcoming, caring community it is today. And I have my own history as well. I have always loved Jewish learning. I remember the light bulb moment I had when my 9th grade Bible teacher, Dr. Susie Tanchel, showed us how to identify when a biblical story was made up of 2 previous accounts that an editor merged into one newer, more complex story. As a class, we practiced pulling apart 2 different narratives, and then we reflected on what it meant to bring them together. I remember realizing that this is what our tradition is about bringing together different voices, different stories, and being in conversation with them throughout the generations in ways that are relevant to us now, in the moment. One of the things I love about our tradition is that it gives us ways to notice and express gratitude for so many of the blessings that we experience in our lives. There's a blessing that is particularly resonant for me at this moment. I shared it in the Dovetail a year ago, right after I started here, and I'd like to reflect on it again now. The blessing is one that is meant to be said when we see a large group of people. The blessing is Baruch Chacham Harazim. Blessed is the one who knows secrets. The Talmud asks, what does this blessing mean? What secrets is it talking about? It answers its own question. God sees a whole group of people whose minds are different from each other and whose faces are different from each other. God, who knows all secrets, knows what is in each of their hearts. Think about it. Each of us here today is different from everyone else here. We like different things. We have different strengths. We have different preferences. We have different opinions about so many things. And that is cause for gratitude. The diversity in this room is cause for celebration, and it allows for something very special to happen when we come together. Because even as we are each different from one another, there are also things which unite us. And we also have the ability to support and care for one another. Part of why I decided to become a rabbi is because I wanted to be part of building meaningful communities where very different people can come together and find meaning in our tradition in lots of different ways. That is happening at Ohev. Ohev offers a variety of ways to connect, including prayer, learning, social connections, social action, and more. and we are committed to being a diverse group. The OHEV tagline is, "We celebrate the uniqueness of each individual and family, and we welcome diversity within our sacred community." It's everywhere on our website. We can see that commitment in the design of the sanctuary and building, in the way the school operates, and in the ongoing inclusion initiatives that we have. Over time, we have begun to learn more about each other and to form a partnership. I have formed an appreciation for many OHEV traditions, and many of you have shared with me what you most treasure here, what you are proud of, and what you see as your challenges. You have welcomed me into important moments in your families, both sad and joyful. We have learned together, and we have made plans together. As your rabbi, there are many components to my role. I help support the ritual life of the community. I try to be a supportive pastoral presence and to support those in our community who are going through both challenging and joyful times. And I teach at services, in adult education classes, in family education settings, in our religious school, and at other times as well. And I support our programming and the general functioning of our synagogue. And something that I try to do is to facilitate meaningful experiences, and I love the metaphor of the shamash for that. And that's how I try to teach as well, through helping each of us engage personally with texts and ideas. And that is how I try to lead. My role is to support our leadership and members in the initiatives we want to bring to life, and also to share visions of what might be possible for us together. My role is to help us find meaning and significance in Jewish practice, in learning, and in prayer, and to help us ask, what do we want to accomplish together? This year, we are celebrating our 50th year as a synagogue. It is a privilege to be part of this milestone. This will be a time for reflection, memories, and also for looking to the future. What is next for us? What challenges and what opportunities? Just as the ancient Israelites used to conclude the Bikurim ritual, where they reflected on their past and present, with giving thanks for what they had, I would like to conclude with gratitude as well. I am so appreciative that we have found each other. I am so grateful for the special moments we have already shared, from the large communal gatherings to the very personal moments. I am grateful for the synergy we have found together. I am hopeful that we can continue to strengthen the bonds within this community, to create a nurturing spiritual home for those who may be looking for one, and to continue to be a robust, inclusive, and joyful Jewish home for each of us. Many thanks to all of you. May we together go from strength to strength. Toda Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi Kling-Perkins. We're going to break now. We're going to move into the social hall. Before we do, I do want to expand on something Rabbi Kling-Perkins mentioned. For those of you who know Linda Springer, Linda is a vital part of our community. When we started talking about this installation, Linda said to me, "Don't worry about anything. I'm on it. And for the most part, I didn't have to worry about anything because Linda was on it. Linda planned the entire luncheon that we have that we're going to serve. She planned the centerpieces. Everything that you will walk into the social hall and see was Linda's thoughts, ideas, and doing. Linda is sick. Linda is in the hospital right now. My wife spoke with her daughter and gave me permission to talk about it. Linda will be having open heart surgery on Tuesday morning. Linda has asked, and I will ask, for all of your prayers. She has asked, she truly believes that this community's prayers alone will bring her through. So I ask that on Tuesday, when you have a moment, say a prayer for Linda. They work. Linda believes it, I believe it, we all believe it. I told Linda that I expected her back running the Simcha Boutique very soon, and shortly thereafter running basically every program we have. Actually, I told Linda that she will not be running every program we have. We're going to give her a little bit of a break. So again, please, Tuesday, keep her in your thoughts, keep her in your prayers, and know that when you go in for lunch today, that is all Linda's doing. With that, I will ask everybody on the cantor's side of the sanctuary to exit through the back side door. Everybody on my side to, again, exit on the back side door. I will ask everybody to go find a seat. Do not go for lunch. We will have more instruction as everybody finds a seat. Thank you.